Ladies and gentlemen, net, the power to change your life lies within you. It begins not with the external circumstances, but with the internal shifts you make. Each of us carries a narrative, a story of who we are, what we can do, and what we are destined to become. But what if that narrative is no longer serving you? What if it's the very thing holding you back? Your thoughts are the architects of your reality, shaping every experience, every relationship, and every opportunity in your life. The way you think determines the lens through which you view the world, influencing not only how you perceive events, but also how you respond to them. Most people move through life unaware of this profound truth, allowing their minds to operate on autopilot, dictated by patterns of the past and conditioned by external circumstances. But what if you could consciously shift this process? What if you could deliberately choose your thoughts to create a reality aligned with your desires? Every thought you have sends a signal into the world and within your own body. It activates emotions, sets off a cascade of physiological responses, and eventually solidifies into actions. Over time, these actions form habits, and these habits shape your life. If your thoughts are steeped in negativity, fear, or limitation, the result is a reality that mirrors those same qualities. You find yourself stuck in a cycle, replaying the same scenarios, facing the same struggles, and wondering why change feels so elusive. The truth is, change begins at the level of thought. What you think about most becomes your focus, and where your focus goes, energy flows. When you consistently dwell on thoughts of lack, failure, or insecurity, you're not only reinforcing those experiences in your external world, but also embedding them deeply into your identity. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the good news is that this process works both ways. If negative thoughts can limit your potential, empowering thoughts can elevate it. Imagine the power of choosing thoughts that align with the life you want to live. Thoughts of abundance, confidence, and possibility create a ripple effect that reshapes your perception of the world. When you believe in your ability to succeed, your brain begins to filter out distractions and focus on opportunities that align with that belief. It's not magic, it's biology. Your mind is designed to seek coherence between your thoughts and your reality, and when you shift your thinking, the world responds accordingly. The key is awareness. You must become conscious of the thoughts you entertain. Most of our thinking is habitual, running in the background without our active participation. These unconscious patterns often stem from past experiences or societal conditioning, creating a mental environment that feels fixed and unchangeable. But the moment you bring awareness to these patterns, you reclaim your power. You can interrupt the cycle, challenge the narrative, and replace old thoughts with new ones. This process requires practice and patience. Changing your thoughts is not about forcing positivity or ignoring challenges. It's about intentionally choosing perspectives that empower rather than diminish you. When faced with obstacles, instead of thinking, I can't, you train yourself to ask, how can I when doubt arises? Instead of succumbing to it, you affirm your ability to learn and grow. These shifts may seem small, but they hold the power to transform not just how you feel in the moment, but also the trajectory of your life. Breaking old mental habits requires consistent focus and awareness because the patterns that govern your mind are deeply ingrained. Your brain is a masterpiece of efficiency, designed to conserve energy by forming habits, automatic responses to recurring situations. These mental habits are the result of years, sometimes decades, of repetitive thinking, feeling, and behaving. They form neural pathways that grow stronger with repetition, creating a kind of mental shortcut that defines how you react to the world. While this efficiency is a survival mechanism, it can also be a trap, keeping you locked in cycles that no longer serve you. Changing these habits begins with understanding that your mind is malleable. This concept, known as neuroplasticity, means that your brain can rewire itself throughout your life. However, this rewiring does not happen by chance or through passive effort. It requires consistent focus and conscious intent. You must first become aware of the mental habits that hold you back. These are the thoughts you repeat to yourself, often without question, the doubts, the fears, the self-defeating narratives. They feel automatic because they are. Awareness is the first step, but it's not enough to simply recognize these habits. Once you identify them, you must actively disrupt them. This disruption is where focus comes into play. When you catch yourself thinking in ways that limit you, you must pause, interrupt the thought, and replace it with one that aligns with the person you want to become. For example, if your habitual thought is I always fail, you can consciously replace it with I'm learning and growing every day. This act may feel unnatural at first, but with repetition, it creates new neural pathways that will eventually replace the old ones. The process of breaking mental habits is not linear. Your mind will resist change because it craves familiarity. This is why consistent effort is essential. Each time you challenge an old habit, you weaken it. Each time you reinforce a new thought, you strengthen it. Over time, these small, deliberate actions compound into profound transformation. But this consistency demands discipline, especially in moments of stress or uncertainty, when the brain instinctively reverts to old patterns for comfort and predictability. Focus is the glue that holds this transformation together. It is not enough to sporadically address your mental habits, you must remain vigilant. This means paying attention to your thoughts throughout the day, noticing when you slip back into old patterns, and redirecting your mind toward the new. It's a practice that requires energy and commitment, but the rewards are immense. As you build awareness and maintain focus, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts. Situations that once triggered fear or frustration no longer have the same hold over you. The choices you make become more aligned with your goals, and your actions reflect the mindset you've worked to cultivate. With time and persistence, the habits that once seemed unchangeable lose their power, and you step into a new way of thinking and being. A new mindset starts with envisioning the life you want to live. Your mind is a powerful tool, capable of creating realities far beyond what you might currently believe. The first step to changing your mindset is to clearly define the vision of who you want to become and the life you want to lead. Without this vision, the mind has no direction, no target to aim for, and no reason to change. Envisioning your ideal life acts as a blueprint, a guide for your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The process begins with imagination. Your brain doesn't differentiate between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you consistently visualize the life you want, your brain starts to accept it as a possibility. This isn't merely wishful thinking, it's about creating a mental picture so clear and compelling that it begins to reshape your internal dialogue and emotional responses. You start to feel the emotions associated with that life: gratitude, excitement, confidence before it even manifests. These feelings act as a magnet, aligning your energy with the reality you're working to create. Many people hesitate to envision the life they desire because they are anchored in their current circumstances. They look around and see limitations, struggles, or failures, and these become their reference points for what is possible. But to create a new mindset, you must rise above what you see now and focus on what could be. It's about training your mind to operate from a future perspective rather than being tethered to the past or confined by the present. This vision is not just about material success or external achievements, it's about the person you become in the process. What kind of thoughts does this version of you think? How do they respond to challenges? What values guide their decisions? Envisioning your ideal life is as much about internal transformation as it is about external outcomes. You are, in essence, creating a new identity. And with that identity comes a new set of beliefs, habits, and perspectives. Visualization must be vivid and consistent to be effective. It's not enough to occasionally think about your goals or daydream when it's convenient. It requires deliberate effort, closing your eyes, quieting your mind, and immersing yourself in the details of your envisioned life. What does your day look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What kind of people surround you? The more specific and sensory rich your vision, the more real it becomes to your brain. As you practice this, your mind begins to align with this new reality. You start noticing opportunities that support your vision, and your actions naturally shift to reflect the person you are becoming. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable lose their power because your focus is no longer on the problem, but on the solution. This process builds momentum, and as your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors align with your vision, the external world begins to mirror your internal transformation. Emotions are the fuel for transforming your mindset because they amplify the power of your thoughts, turning them into more than just fleeting ideas. Your emotions act as a bridge between the intangible realm of thought and the tangible world of action and experience. They give weight and energy to what you focus on, making it essential to align your emotional state with the mindset you wish to adopt. To create lasting change, you must deliberately cultivate emotions that support and reinforce the reality you want to experience. When you repeatedly think a thought, it generates an emotional response. If the thought is negative, the resulting emotion will likely be fear, doubt, or frustration. Over time, these emotions anchor the thought more deeply into your mind, making it part of your identity. On the other hand, when you consciously choose thoughts that inspire, uplift, and empower you, they evoke emotions like joy, excitement, and confidence. These emotions act as a powerful catalyst, strengthening the thought and making it more impactful. The relationship between thoughts and emotions is a two-way street. While thoughts can trigger emotions, emotions can also influence your thinking. For example, if you wake up feeling anxious, your mind may begin to generate thoughts that align with that anxiety, such as worrying about the future or doubting your abilities. Conversely, if you wake up feeling inspired, your thoughts naturally lean toward optimism and possibility. This is why managing your emotional state is critical to shifting your mindset. To use emotions as fuel, you must first become aware of your current emotional state. Are you operating from a place of fear, anger, or sadness? Or are you rooted in gratitude, love, and excitement? Once you recognize where you are emotionally, you can take intentional steps to shift your feelings toward those that align with the mindset you're cultivating. One effective way to do this is by focusing on gratitude. Gratitude is a high energy emotion that can quickly elevate your state of mind. By simply reflecting on the things you're thankful for, you can disrupt negative patterns and open yourself to more empowering emotions. Another powerful approach is to practice embodying the emotions of your desired future. Imagine yourself living the life you envision. How does it feel to achieve your goals, to wake up fulfilled, to overcome challenges with ease? These emotions are available to you now, even before the external reality matches your vision. When you feel as though your goals are already accomplished, your brain begins to rewire itself to support that belief. Your body responds as if the experience is real, reinforcing the mindset you're working to adopt. This process requires consistency and deliberate practice. You can't leave your emotions to chance or expect them to align naturally with your goals. Instead, you must actively cultivate feelings that serve your transformation. Over time, as you strengthen the connection between empowering thoughts and the corresponding emotions, you create a feedback loop that supports the lasting change you seek. Repetition is a key element in changing your mindset because it is through consistent practice that your brain begins to rewire itself. The human brain thrives on repetition. It is how habits are formed, both mentally and physically. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, and every behavior you engage in is the result of neural pathways that have been reinforced over time. These pathways are like well-trodden trails in your mind, making it easy to follow the same patterns day after day. To change your mindset, you must create new trails, and the only way to do that is through repetition. When you repeat a thought, you are signaling to your brain that it is important. Your brain, in its effort to be efficient, begins to strengthen the neural connections associated with that thought. Over time, the repeated thought becomes easier to access, eventually becoming your default way of thinking. This is why repetition is so powerful it turns conscious effort into automatic response. If you want to shift your mindset, you must be intentional about what you are repeating to yourself. Positive affirmations are an example of how repetition can reshape your thinking. When you consistently tell yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, or I can achieve my goals, these statements begin to take root in your subconscious. At first, they may feel unnatural or even untrue, especially if your old mindset is rooted in self-doubt or fear. But as you persist, the repetition starts to override the old beliefs. The brain rewires itself to accommodate this new narrative. It narrowly starts to genuinely believe and act according to these affirmations. The same principle applies to behaviors. If you want to adopt a growth mindset, for example, you must repeatedly engage in actions that reflect that mindset. This could mean taking on challenges that push you out of your comfort zone, seeking feedback, or embracing failure as a learning opportunity. Each time you take these actions, you are reinforcing the neural pathways associated with a growth-oriented perspective. The more you repeat these behaviors, the stronger those pathways become, and the easier it is to continue acting in alignment with your desired mindset. Repetition is also essential for emotional patterns. If you want to feel more gratitude, joy, or confidence, you must repeatedly evoke those emotions. This can be done through practices like gratitude journaling, visualizing your ideal future, or intentionally recalling moments of success and happiness. By repeatedly experiencing these positive emotions, you train your brain to default to them more often, even in challenging situations. This process of repetition requires patience and persistence. The old pathways in your brain will not disappear overnight, and new ones will not form instantaneously. There will be moments when your old mindset tries to reassert itself, pulling you back into familiar patterns. It is in these moments that repetition becomes even more critical. By consistently returning to the new thoughts, beliefs, and actions you are cultivating, you gradually weaken the hold of the old mindset and strengthen the foundation of the new one. Mindset change requires not just repetition or vision, but also persistence, especially in the face of setbacks. Challenges and obstacles are inevitable when you seek to grow or shift the way you think, but they are not barriers meant to stop you. Instead, they serve as opportunities for refinement and resilience. True transformation demands that you stay committed to the process, even when it feels uncomfortable, uncertain, or slow. Persistence is what separates fleeting attempts from lasting change. When you begin working on your mindset, you may feel a surge of motivation. Everything seems possible, and the path ahead feels clear. But as time progresses, doubts can creep in, and external circumstances may challenge your newfound beliefs. Old habits or limiting thoughts might resurface, making you question whether change is truly achievable. It is precisely in these moments that persistence matters most. Transformation is not a straight line, it's a process of learning, adapting, and realigning. Your brain is designed to resist change because its primary function is to keep you safe and efficient. It gravitates toward familiar patterns, even if those patterns no longer serve you. When you persist through the discomfort of breaking old habits, you are signaling to your brain that the new way of thinking is not a passing whim, but a genuine shift. Over time, the brain begins to prioritize these new patterns, making them the default. Persistence, then, is not just a mental exercise, it is a physical process of rewiring your neural pathways. One way to cultivate persistence is to reframe setbacks as stepping stones. When you encounter failure or frustration, instead of a sign to stop, view it as feedback. What can you learn from this experience? How can it guide your next step? Every obstacle holds a lesson, and persistence allows you to uncover it. This perspective shifts your focus from the problem itself to the solution, reinforcing the growth-oriented mindset you are striving to adopt. Another aspect of persistence is consistency. Change doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the small, consistent actions you take each day. Whether it's repeating affirmations, practicing mindfulness, or taking courageous steps toward your goals, these daily habits compound over time. The key is not perfection, but commitment. Even if you falter, returning to the practice strengthens your resolve and reinforces the mindset you are building. Persistence also requires faith in the unseen. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, when the gap between where you are and where you want to be seems insurmountable. In these times, trust that the work you are doing is laying a foundation. The seeds of change are often buried deep, and their growth may not be immediately visible. But with persistence, they will break through the surface and flourish. Surrounding yourself with supportive influences can also bolster your persistence. Whether it's mentors, inspiring books, or like-minded individuals, these sources of encouragement remind you why you started and keep you grounded in your commitment. By persisting through every challenge and continuing to align your actions with your vision, you move closer to the mindset and life you desire. Belief is the cornerstone of mindset transformation because what you believe shapes your perception, decisions, and actions. It is not enough to want change. You must believe it is possible. Your beliefs are the lens through which you view the world, and they directly influence how you respond to challenges, opportunities, and setbacks. To change your mindset, you must first identify and shift the beliefs that are holding you back, replacing them with those that align with the vision of the life you want to create. Beliefs are formed over time through experiences, conditioning, and repetition. They often operate below the surface of your awareness, guiding your actions without conscious thought. If you believe you're not good enough or capable of achieving success, this belief will color every decision you make, often leading you to settle for less or avoid risks. Conversely, if you believe you are resourceful, resilient, and worthy, you'll approach life with confidence, persistence, and a willingness to embrace opportunities. The key to changing your mindset lies in reprogramming these underlying beliefs. The process begins with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that arise when you face a challenge or consider pursuing a goal. Are these thoughts supportive or limiting? Do they encourage growth or reinforce fear? By observing your mental dialogue, you can uncover the beliefs that shape your thinking. For instance, if you hear yourself saying, "I can't do this," dig deeper. Why do you believe that? What evidence are you using to support that belief? Often these limiting beliefs are based on past experiences or assumptions rather than a truth. Once you've identified a limiting belief, challenge it. Question its validity and look for evidence that contradicts it. For example, If you believe you're not smart enough to succeed, recall moments when you solved problems, learned new skills, or overcame obstacles. These memories serve as proof that your belief is not absolute. As you challenge and dismantle beliefs, you create space for new, empowering ones to take root. Replacing a belief requires repetition and emotional investment. Affirmations, visualization, and other mindset practices can help solidify new beliefs. When you repeatedly tell yourself, I'm capable, I deserve success, or I can handle challenges, these statements begin to override the old narrative. To amplify this process, pair these affirmations with emotions that reinforce them. Imagine how it feels to succeed, to overcome, to thrive. By associating positive emotions with your new beliefs, you strengthen their impact on your subconscious mind. Belief is also reinforced through action. Each time you take a step toward your goal, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that your new belief is true. Action creates evidence, and evidence solidifies belief. If you believe you are resilient, every challenge you face and overcome strengthens that belief. This feedback loop between belief and action becomes a powerful driver of change. Ultimately, belief is a choice. You can choose to believe in limitations, or you can choose to believe in possibilities. This choice shapes your mindset and, by extension, your life. The more you invest in beliefs that empower you, the more they become an integral part of who you are, guiding you toward the life you envision.